When it comes to video games, there is always a list of things players all over the world want to see. The same goes for Hogwarts Legacy. So I wanted to do a list of things fans want to see in the game. To do so, I went through the comments under my videos to see what you do not want to miss in Hogwarts Legacy. And I also brought in some of my own ideas, so I hope you can relate to them. Let me know what expectations you have for Hogwarts Legacy or wishes for future Wizarding World games in the comments down below, and who knows, maybe I'll make it into one of my next videos. Before I start, I wanted to thank all of you for the huge milestones we reached with the video where I talk about 10 questions that have been answered. I still can't believe how many people actually saw it and how much our little community grew. If you want to check it out, you can now click on the eye in the top right corner. Also, if you like my personality and the content I create, please consider subscribing as it will grow our community even bigger. Now without further ado, let's start right into the video. The very first thing on my list is of course Quidditch. Yes, I know I have talked about it lots of times already, but that's because almost everyone I've talked to wants Quidditch in the game. It's just a fact, so I had to take it into this video. Most of the people I've talked to and I've seen speak about the game want Quidditch in Hogwarts Legacy. Even the people that don't personally want to play a position, they still want to be able to go and watch a Quidditch match. And I personally feel the same way. I would love to be able to apply for a position on the Quidditch team, or if I want to focus on something else like exploring, then I at least want to be able to watch a game and celebrate for my team. A lot of you would even be okay with it just being a side quest or a mini game, but then I really hope that they didn't choose quick time events for it like in Hogwarts Mystery. I really didn't enjoy that. But maybe creating an immersive Quidditch story or whatever would take too much time to develop. After all, Hogwarts Legacy won't be a game that is only focused on Quidditch. So I would understand if they don't put it in the game, but then I hope that they add it as a DLC. People that really want to play Quidditch can buy the DLC, and the people who couldn't care less can just skip it and play the base game. Either way, I really hope they included it in some way. The thing I think I want the most is haptic feedback for the PlayStation 5. I know Hogwarts Legacy will not be a PlayStation 5 exclusive, but if they already bring it out for that console, then I think they should make use of the amazing features that controller has. We know that they are now also bringing it out for Nintendo Switch, and I'm kinda scared to be honest. The potential the game had before and now after the announcement can be huge. I'm not saying it will be, but let's not lie to ourselves. A game that was exclusively developed for next-gen consoles will be much more powerful graphically and content-wise than when it was developed for most platforms, including Switch. If they want to keep the game the same for all consoles, there will be a lot of things the Nintendo Switch cannot handle, and they'd have to leave it out for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X as well. I can't say for sure what the game will look like in the end, but when it comes down to it, I really hope they give us haptic feedback. I also know that the other consoles won't have it, but that shouldn't mean that the PlayStation 5 players won't have it too. A huge reason why I bought the PlayStation 5 in the first place, instead of an Xbox Series X or another console, was the controller with its haptic feedback. I don't know, I just need it. A highly requested feature from you guys that I personally don't really care about is romance. I do understand why a lot of people want it in the game, which is why I put it on the list. It would open a lot of doors for more content, especially when it comes to quests and decision making. And also just spending more time with one particular character to get to know them on a deeper level would be kind of fun, I guess. I personally feel like friendships in the game will be totally enough because I don't see where a relationship would replace a friendship much more in a game like Hogwarts Legacy. You know, because it's a Wizarding World game, it should be focused on exploring the Wizarding World like Hogwarts, doing quests, going to classes. I don't see the big point of like having a romantic relationship on the side. But I also haven't played any games where romance played a role. So I could be missing something that has a lot of potential. If they include it in the game, great. I will finally get to see what it's gonna be like in a game, and maybe I will like it and couldn't imagine the game without it. Right now, I don't really care for it, but a lot of you guys would really want it, so for all of you out there, I put it into this video. However, what I really want in the game and hope they put a lot of attention and focus on is the open world. Yes, I know, we already know that there's gonna be a huge open world to explore outside of Hogwarts, and I'm hyped. But I really hope that they made it as explorable as possible. With that I mean little secrets everywhere, ways for us to climb mountains, epic dungeons to explore all over the map, little villages that hold side quests which will take you all over the map to complete them, and last but not least, unlimited time to explore. That's also a big reason why I don't really care much about small things like romance being in the game or them adding Quidditch as a DLC. I want them to really focus on making this world as immersive as possible, especially when it comes to Hogwarts. I want to explore every room in Hogwarts, every corner that I could possibly imagine, and just be fascinated by it. That also brings me to the next point on my list: lively NPCs. Without NPCs, a stunning open world will just feel empty. I want students running around Hogwarts. I want to encounter and talk to other witches and wizards while exploring the world far away from Hogwarts. I want it to feel alive. Just imagine how cool it would be if you walk by NPCs and they greet or avoid you depending on what way you chose or how you treated them before. And while in Hogwarts, your enemies can whisper mean things about you, look at you judgmental, or say hi while you pass by. Just things like that make you feel like you're not alone in that world. And those players are living their own lives, even though they, well, obviously aren't, because, they don't have a brain and stuff, but it should still look like that, Another thing I know a lot of you guys really want is multiplayer. This is something I care even less about than romance. Sure, I would love to play with a friend and explore the wizarding world, do quests and duo, but I have played so many games that didn't have multiplayer, and I must say I love it. I'm currently playing Horizon Zero Dawn in preparations for Horizon Forbidden West, and I must say that I couldn't even imagine playing with another person. I think I would actually find it quite annoying. I also know it has a lot of potential to be really cool, but I would rather have them focus on other things like the open world, story, and character design than on how they can incorporate multiplayer in the game. I'm not saying it wouldn't be a lot of fun. I don't know, but I personally can't imagine it. I still hope they might add it at a later date for the people that want it. After all, you can choose whether you want to play it with someone or not. But if they have to get the game ready for launch and multiplayer is something they are putting in the backseat, I'm not gonna be upset about it. The next thing on the list of things we really want in Hogwarts Legacy is the creation of our own wand. Or maybe we could connect the game to our Pottermore account and be able to use the wand and Patronus we were given. I would still love to be able to create our own wand, whichever way we want it to look, but I have noticed that in the trailers, the wand that the players are holding are always the same, so I'm losing a little bit of hope. If they, however, include it, then I hope that we can at least choose between 3 wands or possibly more. I also don't want to be rude or have a lot of expectations. After all, they're giving us the best game they possibly can, and nobody's world will fall apart if those things aren't included in the game, but there are still things we as fans would like to see for sure. One of those things is also being able to go through the process of becoming an animagus, either legally or illegally. I had a conversation with someone in the comments a few days ago, and we talked about how it could help us progress in the game. For example, if you transform into a bird, you could get to places that you wouldn't normally be able to access as easily. Or if you chose a stronger animal like a bear or a lion, then that could help you in combat. There are so many possibilities and it has a lot of potential. Here, I would also be completely fine with them adding it as a DLC. Another thing us fans would be excited to have in the game or get as a DLC is being able to take the OWL exam at the end of the 5th year. Whether or not we can skip classes in Hogwarts Legacy, it would be cool to have a final test of our knowledge and see how much you actually remember from what you learned while being at Hogwarts. Depending on the classes you paid more attention to or made bigger use in the open world, your grades will look better. For example, if you like the potion class and are also using it a lot outside of class, like in combat or whatever, then you have good chances to get a very high grade. If herbology isn't really your strong suit and you also don't care about it much outside of class, then your grades might not look as good as if you would have paid more attention. I think it would be a very cool end to the story and the reward for going to classes. Maybe you can even get something from it that you needed to unlock something in the open world that you couldn't unlock before. But I'm also not sure if we will even make it to the end of the 5th year, so I guess we just gotta wait and see. And the very last thing on my list, I would love to have different advantages and disadvantages depending on what house you chose. That could be you having an easier time studying and passing classes as a Ravenclaw, building relationships faster as a Hufflepuff, finding extra adventures for a Gryffindor, or not being attacked by as many enemies as a Slytherin. Now, that's just an idea for some advantages. There are a lot of other possibilities, but I think it would be very interesting and it would make multiple playthroughs even more exciting. It would also feel like there would be a point to play through it multiple times, as you might want to see what the other houses have to offer. I'm not a game developer, but I have a feeling that most of these things, if not all, are pretty manageable and have a potential to sooner or later make it into the game. Maybe we even get a confirmation of some of those things very soon. Let me know in the comments what your list looks like. For today, that was it. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss out on any future content. I will see you in my next video. Until then, bye!